Hey, what's up, everybody? We are live. Jason Brown here with thebrownreport.com, and we got a special treat for you today. We are going to be breaking down, when that countdown timer hits 0, we're going to be breaking down the $1 million blueprint, a blueprint of how to grow your trading account to $1 million inside the stock market. And I got some exciting stuff to share with you today. So what we're going to do is just make sure we're live on all the platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and then again, when that countdown timer hits 0, we're going to get started. So I always like to say, let's start off by saying this: if you want to get notified when we go live with these type of case studies and trainings on the stock market and how we're trading options, be sure to type the word show in the notes or in the comment section. If you're on Facebook, type the word show in there, and then we'll add you to our notifications so that you can get notified when we go live. If you're on YouTube, you just want to make sure you hit that subscribe button and subscribe to our channel so that you'll get notified when we go live on YouTube. And we're going to break this thing down. Also, let me know where you're from. I love to interact and find out where you're chiming in from. So let me know what city, what state you guys are chiming in from. And we're going to be breaking this down, the blueprint, the roadmap to $1 million inside the stock market. And I'm also going to share with you my personal story, my personal journey on how I'm planning to get there, but more importantly, how you can plan on getting there as well. So this is about you. What can you do if you have the desire to become a millionaire? And even if you don't, but just knowing what it's like to have a game plan to reach your financial goals inside the stock market. So we're going to be breaking it down. It's going to be real practical, and I'm also going to share with you some real numbers about how this works, and I'm going to reverse engineer it and break down how you make those numbers work for you. So again, we got about 47 seconds. Looks like we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and everything is a go. And this is going to be an awesome training for you today. I'm excited, and I hope you are too, about the information that we are going to share, because I don't think anybody's talking about this, how to get there. And I want to share with you how to make it a reality for yourself. All right, we got Nitofa, we got people chiming in. Perfect. All right, we got 9 seconds, and then it's go kick off. You might want to take this time to tag a friend and let them know they want to join and see this, or if they're watching the replay, they can come and check it out. So let's kick off the intro, and then we'll be right back with how to make or the blueprint to $1 million inside the stock market. All right, we are back. So let's get into it. So many of you, if you've been following me, you know that I'm on this journey. If you haven't been following me, I'm on a journey here to earn, that's right, $1 million profit in the stock market. Guess what? In 1 year. That's right, $1 million in the stock market in 1 year. And I remember when I would tell people about this goal, and some people thought I was crazy. When I was working a job, I think people were like, yeah, right, you're going to make $1 million in 1 year. And here's the thing: if you want to follow the journey, before I get into how we can make this happen for you, if you want to follow the journey, if you're on Instagram, I want you to follow me on Instagram, because this is, let me show you real quick. There it is. So I want you guys to come with me on a trading journey to $1 million in 1 year in the stock market. And on Instagram, I'm documenting all the behind the scenes of what it takes to get there. What does it take to make these type of trades? What does it take to grow a trading account to $1 million in 1 year? And so that is what's happening this year for me. And I'm going to break down the blueprint of how you can make it happen for you. In fact, let me take this timer off of the screen since that is over. All right, so how are we going to do this? So let me talk to you about some of the things that why most people don't think is possible, and then I'm going to share with you why it's possible, what I'm doing to make it possible for me, and then how I can make it possible for you. So let's get into it. The first thing that most people don't believe they can make $1 million, first of all, in their lifetime, but let alone in the stock market, because the first myth is that most people believe that they need a whole lot of money to get involved with the stock market. They feel like they need a whole lot of money to make $1 million. So I'm going to show you how it's possible in 5 years, but I want to just kind of check the pulse of the room here on Facebook and then here on YouTube. How much money do you think it would take for you to make $1 million in the stock market? And I'm going to show you how to do it in 5 years, but assume I didn't tell you that. How long do you think it would take you as well? So I want to know two things. Just type it in the box on Facebook, or if you're live on YouTube. How much money do you think it would take for you to make $1 million? And then how long do you think it would take you to make $1 million with whatever amount you came up with? Because I'm going to show you the magic numbers and how it works and how you can make it work for you. And I'm going to show you my blueprint on how I plan to get there. And I'm going to show you how it's realistic for the average everyday American to get this done if they have the training, if they have the discipline, and if they have the will to go after this thing. I think a lot of us are going to make it happen, and more importantly, more people can make it happen once they get the information on how it works. So I see a couple comments coming in. Someone said $50,000 in 3 years. Alyssa said $100,000. Cassandra said $10,000. We got some people on YouTube sharing their numbers. Perfect, right? So let's talk about the time frame. We got 8 years on here, 50,000 in 3 years. What else? What are some of the time frames and the dollar amount? So how much do you think you need to make $1 million? And then how long do you think it would take you to make $1 million? The shortest time frame I saw was 3 years, but that was like $100,000. Hugo says $2,872.65 in less than 5 years. I love it. I love it. All right, Alicia says $100,000. All right, perfect. So let's talk about what it really takes. All right, so the answer is none of those, but I'm going to actually switch over and I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to show you what the real numbers are and how you can make it happen. I'm going to show you what I'm going through to make it happen. I'm going to show you some of the returns that I'm getting, because that's probably going to be the next thing on your mind. It's like, how are you getting those type of returns? So give me 1 second here, and then let me share my screen with you, and then we will break down how that works. So just load up my screen, and I think you guys are going to love this. I think you're going to love this breakdown. All right, so there you should be able to see my screen in about 2 seconds. And let me take this off, and let me take this off. All right, perfect. So now you're looking at my screen. This is one of the sheets that comes inside of the Foundations of Stock Trading course. It's basically a blueprint or a roadmap so that people can figure out how, starting with whatever amount of money that I have, what could I do to grow it, and then at what percentage rate. So you can see here, this is actually based off, it's going to be a 5-year plan, assuming that you can earn 10% a month, a 10% return on your investment every month. And so I know what some people are thinking about. They're thinking like, no one's earning 10% a month. What I want you to do is I want you to allow yourself to dream for a minute. I want you to allow yourself to be present and say, what if I could earn 10% a month every month for the next 5 years? What would that financially look like? And that's what I'm going to break down in this sheet. So if you were to start with $100, okay? If you were to start with $100 in your stock trading account, first month you made 10%, you make 110. Second month, 10%. So compounding interest, you left that money in there, you didn't pull it out, you'd be at 121. Next month, you'd be at 133. All right, so let's speed this up a little bit. Let's see where it gets exciting. So year 2, if you don't take anything out at the end of the year, you have $985,000. Year 3, don't take anything out, you'd have $3,091. Year 4, you'd have $9,702, and in year 5, you'd have $30,000. Now, let's talk about this for a second before I show you how to make $1 million in the stock market, because here's the thing. Most people may look at this and say, all I have is $100. What's that going to do? But $100 with laser focus can help you put a kid through college, or at least pay for a good portion of it. $100 with laser focus, okay, $30,000, that could possibly help you come up with a very nice down payment for a $300,000 house. That's 10% of it. In 5 years, you're moving into a very nice house. So that is some decent money. Let's take it up a notch. What if you started with $1,000? Notice what happens to the results now. If you can get started with $1,000, meaning you stop shopping, stop buying Starbucks coffee every day. No disrespect to Starbucks, right? But you do whatever it takes to discipline to get $1,000 into your trading account, plus get the education and learn how this thing works. Okay, so we can't skip over that part. You do have to have the education and learn how this thing works. But assuming you have all of those lined up, you come all the way over here, and then about year 3, you made what it took you 5 years to make in year 1, starting with $100. So it took you 5 years to make this $30,000 starting with $100. But notice, you can make it in year 3 just by starting with $1,000 and assuming, okay, 10% net profit every month from your investments. And again, I'm going to break down some of the trades and some of the stuff that I'm getting and how this is working out for me on my journey. All right. Now, look at what happens in year 4, and then look at what happens in year 5. Okay, so you went from starting with $100 to put a down payment on a $300,000 house to, in 5 years, you can walk in and pay cash for that $100,000 house. All right, you see the difference there? Let me just pop back on the screen here. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I saw this, I got excited because first of all, I knew I could get started with $100. So I was like, I know I can do that. But then when I saw, like, what if I push myself? What if I stretched a little bit? What if I flexed a little bit of muscle and I came to the table with $1,000 and I really figured out how this game works? Okay, that excited me to know that most people spend their entire lives trying to pay for a house, like 30 years, 40 years, trying to get a mortgage, whereas coming to the table with $1,000 with some laser focus in 5 years, you cannot have a house note for the rest of your life and live in a pretty decent house. Does that make sense? Does that excite anybody? If that excites you, type the word I'm excited. Just type excited, or give me some emojis, some thumbs up, some hearts. Send an emoji if that makes sense. That's what I love to see. A hearts up, an emoji, something, because that fired me up when I saw that. I was like, you mean to tell me that that's the type of money that I can make just by starting with $1,000? And the reality is, we've blown people. I know people who blew $1,000 on a purse. I know people who blew, in my neighborhood, people paid $1,000 for some alligator shoes, right? I know women who have $1,000 handbag. I know people who got a couple pairs of Jordans. If you add 3 pairs of those up, they done spent about $1,000, okay? So it is totally possible, and I love the hearts, the thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, you can hit the hearts and thumbs up and make sure you show us some love over there. Now, let's go back to the sheet, all right, because I'm going to show you where this thing starts to get really crazy. I'm going to show you how you can make this work for you. So let's go back. There we go. All right, so let's just show you what you came here for, because I said I'm going to give you the blueprint to $1 million in the stock market. Okay, so now let's put on the screen, and here's why I'm doing this right now, because also tax time is coming up, and this is a number that most people don't realize, that with a lot of focus they can become a millionaire. So here is the magic number, and when someone shared this with me, I said I gotta go after it. I have to go after this. If you got started with $4,000, now this doesn't include the money that you spend for education. This doesn't include buying somebody's course like mine or investing in learning. It doesn't include that. Also, let me note, this 5 years does not include maybe you took 6 months or a year to learn this craft, okay? But look at what's possible starting with $4,000. In month 1, you earn 10%, $4,400. In month 2, you earn 10%, $4,804. In month 3, you earn 10%, $5,000, right? Look at what happens. Let's speed this up. Look at what happens in year 2. Notice it took you 2 years to make what it took you 5 years to make, starting with $100. Now with $4,000, you made that in 1 year. But let's keep the party going. Look at what happens in year 4. Let's talk about year 3. Most people don't make $100,000 in a year, but in year 3, when you start compounding the interest and making 10% on $43,000, by the end of that 12-month period, you will be in the 6-figure club, right? You will be in a 6-figure club. Now, here's where it starts to get a little bit interesting. Year 4, nothing has changed that much other than you can still pay cash for that house. You can still pay cash for that house. Congratulations. But for the person who goes the extra mile, I once heard them say that there are no traffic jams on the extra mile, right? Because everybody's getting off early. Look at what happens if you can stay focused 1 more year beyond the house, beyond buying a car and buying some intangibles. Yes, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, in year 5, you don't even have to wait the entire year. You can become a millionaire if you stay focused, if you learn how to invest $4,000 and earn a consistent 10% return every single month. I want to see some hearts and some hands go up after that, because that pumped me up when I saw it. So does that get you excited about what's possible? Because here's the thing, tax time is coming up and most people are going to get $4,000 return. And what are they going to do with it? They're going to go shopping. They're going to pay some bills. They're going to do all these things that don't make them any money. And I'm showing you that with some focus, with a game plan for your life and for your financial future, yes, everyday, average, regular people can become millionaires. All right? You don't have to go to your boss and ask for a raise. You don't have to, I know there's probably some spiritual people watching this, right? A lot of people want to pray about money. You don't have to pray. The Lord is saying just get to work, get $4,000 and learn how to earn 10% every single month. You don't have to go play the lottery, okay? You can come to the table with a consistent game plan and stay focused for 5 years, and you can become a millionaire. Now, here's the problem. Now, let me address some of the problems that I know some people are thinking. There's probably a couple things going through your mind right now. First person saying, where am I going to get $4,000 from? Listen, I don't care where you get it from. Tax returns coming up. Sell that big screen TV in your house that's not making you any money. All right, figure out how to come up with $4,000. If you can't figure that part out, you probably don't deserve to become a millionaire, because you haven't figured out how to just come up with a very basic $4,000, okay? So let's talk about what happens once you get the $4,000. The second person is thinking, I know what you're thinking, where am I going to earn 10% every month, month in, month out? Nobody's getting that return. The bank isn't giving me that return. So let me share with you how I'm able to earn way more than 10%. I know if I got any of my Power Trade University members on here, these guys understand how we're able to get way more than 10%. But I'm actually going to switch over to my screen again, and I'm going to show you guys something here. I want to go to the you can see it on Facebook, but I'll show you. You can see it on YouTube too, but I'm going to actually show it to you on the website. So let me switch back to the screen and show you my secret weapon of how I'm able to do this, because I know that's what you're thinking. Well, how do I earn that type of income? So let's switch back over. All right. So here's what I am going to bring up. I want to bring you to some of my case studies, but then I'm going to break down how you can make this work for you. All right. So if you come to the site, and you can see this on Facebook too, maybe I'll pull it up. You can take a look at my option trading case studies, and you can see I don't post all of them, but you can see I made 19% 7 days there, and there's a full video on that. You can watch that. There's the video. I break down what stocks I actually bought, what I bought them at, what I sold them at. This one I made 80K profit in 2 months. I don't remember what the percentage was, but it was more like 50%. Here's one where I actually took a $30,000 loss. This one I made 84% return in 3 days. But the point is, and if you're on Facebook, you can see those case studies too. But what's my point? How am I, let me switch back to the camera here. The question is, and I know it's floating through your head, the question is, okay, Jason Brown, how are you able to get those insane returns? The 19% in like 3 days, the 40%. The 50%. You guys see some of the posts that I post on Facebook. I'm like, we're up 50% in like 30 days, or I made $100,000 in 2 months and stuff like that. The crazy numbers that we're doing. The secret weapon, and that nobody's telling you about. All right, let me be very clear. Here's the secret weapon that nobody's telling you about. Most people are not telling you about options. So what are options, Jason Brown? Options allow me the ability to control higher price stocks without actually owning the stock. Now I know some people, that might just blow your mind. Like, what are you talking about, controlling the stock versus owning it? See, most people are teaching you to buy the stock, and some people teaching you to gamble with Bitcoin and all this other crazy stuff. But the point is, most people will tell you, hey, you want to trade Apple? It's going to cost you $100 a share. You want to trade some Google? It's going to cost you $1,000 a share. Well, if you have $4,000 and you're buying $1,000 a share of stock, you can only control what? You can only control about 4 shares, right? And so if it moves $10, you make what? $40. That's not, I don't want to say that's not real money, but I mean, it's money, but that's not life-changing money. That's what I'm trying to share with you. The reality is, when you are able to control the higher price stocks versus buying them, it offers leverage. And you can control these stocks for a certain period of time and get a way better return than you could if you actually own the stock outright. Does that make sense? And so if it doesn't make sense, let me share my screen again, and here's what I want you to do. Here's all I want you to think about as we get ready to wrap this up, because I'm going to share with you how you can learn this information. So here's what I want you to focus on as we can wrap this up. And I want you to ask yourself this question. Is it possible, if you can hear my voice, I just want you to look at this screen. Just look at the screen. Ask yourself, number one, self, can I get $4,000? At some point, can I work up to it? Even if I start with $1,000, could I eventually get $4,000? If you started with $1,000, well, in year 2, in 1 month, you would be starting with $4,000. So you can start your $1 million journey from right here. You can start it from right here. But for those of you who can come up with the entire $4,000, ask yourself, can I get $4,000? Can I come up with it? Can I save it? Can I eventually get there even if I start with a lower amount? If the answer is yes. The second question you have to ask yourself, self, can I earn 10% every single month? Okay, for most people, the answer to that is, I don't know how to earn 10% every single month. I don't know how to earn 10% a month. Well, here's the thing. I'm sharing with you how you can do it. I got a brand new webinar where I'm breaking down exactly what it says. How do I get those insane returns, okay? So I'm breaking down on my brand new live webinar, Power Trading with Options. I'm sharing with you my option trading secrets and how you can learn how to trade options and power up your returns, because that is my secret weapon on how I get those insane returns. I take a small amount of money and then I grow it crazily just by using options. So here's the deal. If you want to learn how this works, I'm hosting a brand new masterclass called Power Trading with Options. If you type the word learn inside, if you're on Facebook and you type in the word learn, If you're on YouTube, you got to come over to our website and just register. But if you're on Facebook, type the word learn in the box, and I'm going to be sharing with you the dates and time for this upcoming webinar. In fact, there will be some times today where we're running the webinar all weekend long. We'll be running it several times a week. Type the word learn. I'm going to be breaking down my option trading secrets. This is a free webinar too, because I know someone's going to say, well, how much does it cost? Yes, the course costs if you want to take it a step further, but this webinar doesn't cost you anything. It's a free webinar where I'm breaking down my option trading secrets. I'm going to share with you a real case study of how a call option works, how a put option works. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of if you bought the stock versus if you bought the option, and you're going to see, your eyes are going to be open to how ridiculous the amount of money is you can make once you learn the strategy and learn how to control the stocks versus buying one. And you'll be surprised at how quick you can flip a profit. So I'm breaking that down. Again, type the word learn in the description, and then we're going to shoot you an automatic message, right? So it's not me actually sending it to you. It's going to be an automatic message that fires off to you and say, hey, if you want to learn this, just confirm, and then we'll send you the date and times for the upcoming webinar. Now, if you want to follow me on my journey, here's the deal. If you've been following me on Instagram, I'm documenting my entire journey as I go to $1 million, not in 5 years, but in 1 year. That's right, this year. And already in January, we're at about $120,000 profit. Now, let me be clear. I am not guaranteeing you will get the 120 grand that I'm getting. I'm not guaranteeing that every month you'll be a winner. I'm not even guaranteeing you'll make money. What I am guaranteeing is that by registering for the webinar, you will have the information on how this works, and it's up to you to apply it. And then it's also up to the different market conditions that's going on by the time you finally decide to make a decision to apply it, okay? But what I can guarantee is what you will leave with is the information and a process of how this all works, and you'll leave with an open mind that this, and hope, not hope, you'll leave with an open mind, and you'll leave with a game plan of how this can actually work for you and your family. And so I want to bring this back up. We are on this journey to make $1 million inside 1 year. If you want to follow me on my journey, I'm sharing the behind the scenes. I'm sharing when I close out a profitable trade. And then I'm also going to be doing case studies that you'll see about 30 days after. So like all of January's trades, I share with our members get to see them live, but you'll get to see a case study on them the next month. So in February, you'll get to see a case study of all the trades that got us the 120,000 profit in January. And then if you want to catch the behind the scenes, how it's all happening, how it's all working, you can follow me at Brown Report on Instagram, and you can see the entire behind the scene process of my passion to grow a profitable profit of $1 million inside 1 year in the stock market. So check me out on Instagram, and then let me just come back on live and just say, listen, I don't know if I'm going to hit it this year, but I'm about 200% confident that it's going to happen, all right? We off to a good start. We already closed about 120 in January. In fact, January's not over. I entered another trade yesterday. Me and my members know what I'm talking about. There's some trades we picked yesterday that are up some insane results already today. So we might go into February 2 months ahead of schedule at the rate that we're running right now. But I am fully confident that I'm going to get to $1 million in profit this year, and I'm documenting it all live. So I want people to be able to go back when they say, why is he qualified to teach? Who is this guy? Go back, watch the story, because you get to follow me before we get there. You get to see it all happen and see it all unfold. So I'm taking you with me on my journey to $1 million profit. Not $1 million trading account, profit in the stock market. Don't matter how much I'm starting with. Don't try to compare yourself to me. Doesn't matter how much you're starting with. It's going to take some muscle. It's going to take some knowledge. It's going to take some commitment to grow whatever it is to $1 million. And you get to see me on that journey. So as we wrap up, I appreciate you guys spending some time with me here. And check me out on Instagram at The Brown Report. Don't forget to type learn in the description. Register for my upcoming webinar where I'm going to be breaking down how call options work and how you can take potentially, I should say potentially because nothing's guaranteed, how you could potentially take a $4,000 starting trading account and in 5 years with some discipline, with learning the craft, how you can grow it to $1 million potentially. And here's the thing, what if it took you twice as long? Would it be okay if you became a millionaire in 10 years? Okay? The point is, you got to get in the game. You can't win the Super Bowl on the sidelines. You got to get in the game and you got to play. So I'm Jason Brown with thebrownreport.com. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me, and I will see you guys later. All right, let's go get this money and follow me so we can bring up the behind the scenes of how it all works and how you can make it work for you and your family. In fact, I'm going to share this screen. We're going to end the live with this screen right here. We're going to end the live with that screen right there because that's the last vision that I want in your brain. I want you to see what's possible if you get started now and if you take this game serious and if you follow through for the next 5 years. So that's what we're going to leave it on. I appreciate you spending some time.